from pole position to dead last and back to first. In one of the most chaotic, heart-pounding finishes in recent NASCAR memory, Denny Hamlin pulled off the impossible at Nashville Superspeedway. 3 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas went side by side, 3 wide on the final lap of the Cracker Barrel 400, with teammates Christopher Bell and Chase Briscoe both hunting the same win. When the dust settled, Hamlin crossed the finish line just 0.115 seconds ahead of his own teammates. And after the checkered flag, he stepped out of his car and performed a bow, a tribute to the late Kyle Busch. But how did we get there? Let's break it all down. The Cracker Barrel 400 was held at Nashville Superspeedway, a 1.33-mile concrete oval in Lebanon, Tennessee. The race ran 300 laps, and it was delayed over an hour because of rain. Saturday's qualifying session was canceled entirely due to weather, meaning the starting grid was set by points and pass performance. A sold-out crowd of 38,000 showed up anyway, and they got far more than they bargained for. Denny Hamlin started from pole, driving a Kyle Busch tribute scheme, a decision that carried weight, as Busch had passed away just 10 days earlier on May 21, 2026, at just 41 years old. Busch was a 4-time winner at Nashville across NASCAR's lower series, and the track held a special place in his legacy. On lap 8, the sold-out crowd issued a silent salute in his memory. Tyler Reddick entered the race as the points leader with 5 wins and a commanding lead. Bell, Briscoe, and Hamlin were all genuine contenders. And Shane Van Gisbergen, Trackhouse Racing's road course specialist, was looking to prove himself on an oval surface. Before any of that playing out, Hamlin immediately created his own problem. On lap 1, starting from pole position, he jumped the start, one of the first violations of this kind in his 735 Cup Series starts. NASCAR issued a drive-through penalty, assessed on lap 2, and Hamlin dropped from first to the very back of the 38-car field. His own reaction afterward was blunt. "I definitely jumped the start. No doubt about that. Just didn't wait quite long enough." With Hamlin buried, Tyler Reddick led the opening 37 laps until a lap 35 competition caution gave teams their first strategic decision. Van Gisbergen, Joey Logano, and Brad Keselowski all came in for 2 tires, jumping toward the front for the restart. Van Gisbergen took the lead and held it for 12 laps, trading blows with Kyle Larson, who had come in on 4 fresh tires. Van Gisbergen reflected on the battle. "It was fun. I was surprised how much grip we had on the 2 tires. Larson eventually shuffled him out, but SVG's run at the front was genuinely impressive. Then Nashville showed its teeth. On lap 72, Trackhouse Racing rookie Connor Zilisch had his right front brake rotor explode, sending his car hard into the turn 1 wall. He was done for the night, finishing 38th. Zilisch dragged the car back to the garage with visible frustration, aggressively mashing the throttle and throwing sparks. He told reporters afterward, "There was no warning at all. No pedal fade." Just 9 laps later, on lap 81, his teammate Ross Chastain suffered the exact same failure. Brake rotor gone, car slammed into the turn 1 wall. Chastain, the 2023 Nashville winner who had posted the fastest practice averages all weekend, was equally blindsided. "We're accelerating faster, so we must have to slow down faster," he said. 2 Trackhouse drivers. 2 brake rotor failures, 15 minutes apart. With the field reshuffled, the stage came down to a 1-lap shootout. AJ Allmendinger of Colleague Racing had stayed out on old tires along with Riley Herbst, and in a photo finish, Allmendinger beat Kyle Larson for his first oval stage win at the Cup level. The Stage 1 top 10 read: Allmendinger, Larson, Blaney, Elliott, Reddick, Wallace, Byron, Briscoe, Herbst, and Heim. Hamlin, still clawing back, finished 19th in the stage. Between stages, the damage from Trackhouse's rotor failures spread further. Ryan Preece was forced to go behind the wall with a hole in his radiator, caused by debris from those same shattered rotors. He was effectively done for the evening. Kyle Larson dominated the opening portion of Stage 2, leading comfortably from the front. Hamlin climbed back into the top 10. Chase Briscoe ran second and eventually passed Larson, taking his first lead of the night, though he radioed his team that the car was handling loose. On lap 139, the leaders began filing down pit road, and by lap 141, Briscoe had pitted from the lead. Then on lap 145, Austin Dillon went for a wild spin on the front stretch. He had checked up for Keselowski and got turned from behind by Chris Buescher. Everyone still on the track came to pit road under yellow. Ryan Blaney assumed the race lead, Chase Elliott second. Briscoe and Larson, who had pitted just before the caution, found themselves buried toward the back of the top 10. Allmendinger, who had recovered brilliantly, was running third and threatening for more. Then on lap 173, his night ended violently. He blew a brake rotor entering turn 1, The third such failure of the night slammed the outside wall and the right front of his car erupted in flames. Allmendinger was done, he told reporters, felt nothing until it exploded. No warning signs. The man who had won Stage 1 was now watching from the garage. 6 drivers stayed out under the subsequent caution: Suarez, Bowman, Stenhouse, Cindric, Keselowski, and Byron. A restart followed, and on the very next lap, Corey Heim contacted Todd Gilliland, triggering a 3-car crash that also collected Cole Custer, effectively ending Stage 2 under caution. Daniel Suarez was declared the Stage 2 winner, a strategy call that mirrored his Coca-Cola 600 victory the week before. The Stage 2 top 10: Suarez, Bowmanson, Stenhouse, Cindric, Hamlin, McDowell, Byron, Bell, Briscoe, Keselowski. As Stage 3 began, the 6 cars that had stayed out came to pit road, handing Hamlin the lead. Joe Gibbs Racing was beginning to assert itself, but the chaos in the field was far from over. Noah Gragson moved up the track, scattering cars around him. Brad Keselowski was spun by Austin Dillon in the ensuing mess, collecting Austin Cindric and slamming the outside wall hard. Keselowski's spotter TJ Majors immediately went on the radio. "The 3 just wrecked you on purpose. He's mad from earlier." Keselowski echoed that sentiment post-race. "It's pretty clear he wrecked me intentionally after seeing that replay. Turnabout is fair play." The 10th caution of the race came shortly after when Hocevar sent Nemechek spinning, with Herbst, Berry, and Gilliland also getting collected. And before that, Hocevar had pushed Buescher into Bubba Wallace, sending Wallace into the outside wall. Wallace's car careened into William Byron and then slid back down into Alex Bowman, ending Bowman's night entirely. The middle of the field was an absolute wreck zone. Meanwhile, Zane Smith and Ryan Blaney led a fuel gamble strategy, staying out and hoping to make it to the end without pitting. Smith had an 18-second advantage over Bell with 30 laps to go, but Blaney eventually bailed on the strategy and came to pit road. Riley Herbst inherited second before he also pitted a few laps later. At the front, Christopher Bell took the lead from Hamlin in lapped traffic with 55 laps to go. The 3 JGR cars, Hamlin, Briscoe, and Bell, were running 1, 2, 3, but all 3 still had a mandatory pit stop ahead of them. Hamlin pitted with 42 to go. Briscoe followed the next lap, Bell the lap after that. Smith, now leading on old fuel, had just 13 laps to hold on when Bell ran him down and took the lead, and then, immediately, Chris Buescher blew his brake rotor and slammed the wall. The 4th rotor failure of the night. The 11th caution flag. Buescher's quote afterward: "We finally were starting to figure it out, and were about to make a charge toward the front, until the brake rotor blew up and ruined the day." Smith pitted. Reddick, Blaney, McDowell, and Hocevar followed. Most leaders stayed out. The stage was set. With 4 laps to go, the green flag flew with Bell, Briscoe, and Hamlin lined up 1, 2, 3. 3 JGR teammates, no team orders, everyone racing for the win. Immediately, they went door to door. Hamlin described it: "I didn't even know we were 3 wide until I saw a replay. I just decided I was going to run the bottom. I was not going to wipe us out." On the final lap, the white flag lap, Briscoe got a massive run and went 3 wide into turn 1. All 3 Toyotas were side by side at racing speed. Bell drove deep into turn 1, overdriving the corner. That half second of overshoot was all Hamlin needed. He snuck to the inside, barely cleared Bell exiting turn 2, and drove away on the back straightaway. 0.115 seconds separated first from second at the line. Bell, gutted, explained. "Denny kept getting more and more aggressive. I thought even when Briscoe got the big run off turn 4 and got to me, it kind of looked like he was going to give me a shove. Then he split to the outside. Briscoe was philosophical. Hate that we weren't on the better end of it. We had a really good Toyota capable of winning and ended up 3rd. Great day for JGR, but the drama didn't end at the checkered flag. Tyler Reddick and Chase Elliott crashed heavily just after the finish line. Ryan Blaney, trying to push Elliott through the field, lost control and hooked Reddick into the outside wall. The impact was severe. Reddick walked away unharmed. Hamlin, who co-owns 23XI Racing, Reddick's team, was shown the replay in a post-race interview and had an immediate reaction: "That looks expensive, D." Blaney radioed immediately: "Oh my God, I did not mean to do that." He visited Reddick personally to apologize after the race. Reddick, after cooling down, held no ill will. "It's just a chain reaction." Blaney came by right away and apologized. "It's a racing deal." Meanwhile, Kyle Larson, who had led 56 laps, one fewer than Hamlin's race-high 57, cut a tire on the final restart and spun into pit lane, finishing 23rd. NASCAR later reviewed the finish line results and corrected the order. Van Gisbergen moved to 5th, and Elliott dropped it to 7th. After collecting the checkered flag, Hamlin climbed out of his car on the front stretch and performed Kyle Busch's signature bow. The 38,000-fan sellout crowd at Nashville responded. It was a moment that carried weight beyond the win. Hamlin had driven a tribute scheme all night in Busch's honor, and this was the culmination. He raised my game. Without him as a teammate, there's no way I win the races I win, especially one like today, Hamlin said. It was an honor to be his teammate for 15 years. He also shared a moment that clearly moved him, learning that Busch, in a Q&A just months before his death, had been asked who he learned the most from as a teammate. Busch's answer was Hamlin. That made me feel good. I didn't realize he had said that, Hamlin reflected. The win moved Hamlin to 62 Career Cup victories, just one behind Kyle Busch's 63, which places Busch 9th on the all-time list. Hamlin is now 10th all-time. The next closest active driver is Joey Logano with 37 wins, 25 behind Hamlin. Hamlin admitted he never expected to get this close. I had kind of resigned to the fact that I thought we weren't going to overtake Kyle. Busch went winless in his final 105 Cup starts. Hamlin has won 25 races in the 2020s alone. The path to history is clear. Michigan International Speedway is next on June 7, where Hamlin is the defending winner and hasn't finished outside the top 10 since 2019. If he wins there, he ties Busch. Then comes Pocono on June 14, where Hamlin holds the all-time record with 7 victories. The opportunity is right in front of him. Beyond the headline finish, Nashville produced storylines throughout the field. JGR swept the podium, first, second, and third, delivering Toyota its first ever Cup Series win at Nashville Superspeedway in 6 attempts. The 3 JGR cars combined to lead 100 laps, Hamlin 57, Bell 29, Briscoe 14. The race set a Nashville record with 31 lead changes among 15 different drivers. Shane Van Gisbergen's 5th-place finish was a career best on an oval in his 64th Cup start. He led 12 laps, his most ever on an oval, and ran inside the top 10 for the majority of the night. Crew chief Stephen Doran noted afterward, "Top 10s are now the benchmark. I think we can do it." Van Gisbergen now sits 12th in the standings, 44 points above the chase cut line. "We just need to keep that momentum and lift our teammates up with us," he said. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. finished 4th, driving a Kyle Busch tribute scheme for Hayek Motorsports, charging forward on fresh tires late in the race for his second top 5 of the season. Allmendinger's heartbreak was the other major storyline. Stage 1 winner, on pace for a historic night, ended by the same brake rotor epidemic that took out 4 drivers total. Zilisch on lap 72, Chastain on lap 81, Allmendinger on lap 173, and Buescher on lap 287. Only 15 cars were on the lead lap at the finish, a Nashville record low. 12 caution flags flew in total. 10 drivers failed to finish. Bubba Wallace had another difficult night, caught in the Hocevar-Buescher chain reaction, and ultimately taken out by the Bowman contact. "I'm tired, man. It's really freaking hard when you're driving your best and just get wiped out." And a physical altercation between Buescher and Hocevar broke out in the garage post-race, yet another punctuation mark on a night full of tension. In the standings after Nashville, Tyler Reddick leads with 657 points and 5 wins. Hamlin is second at 560 points, now just 97 back. Ryan Blaney is third at 483, followed by Chase Elliott at 460 and Ty Gibbs at 449. At the Chase bubble, Austin Cindric holds the final spot in 16th by just 2 points over Ryan Preece, with only 50 points separating 13th Keselowski and 18th Logano. Hamlin was realistic about the title math. "We would have to win 3 or 4 more races, and Reddick's going to have some DNFs. My goal is to stay P2. That'll be close enough with 10 to go." He has been gaining approximately 1.6 points per race on Reddick over the last 5 events. The math is difficult, but no longer impossible. What this win also reinforces is the broader story of Denny Hamlin in 2026. At 45 years old, he jumped the start from pole, dropped to 38th, and still won the race. This is in many ways the defining narrative of his career. At Phoenix in 2025, he came in for 4 tires late in the championship race. Larson took 2, came out ahead, and won the title without leading a single lap before that final restart. No championship across 22 full-time seasons, despite being the winningest active driver in the sport. But in 2026, the format has changed. The 10-race chase means a points reset at Darlington in September, and even a second-place regular season finish would put him just 25 points behind Reddick when the chase begins. His secret, he says, is not raw speed, it's process. "I keep a large notebook every week and jot down things that are going to make me win next time if I fail," Hamlin explained. "I love the process more than I love winning, truthfully." He currently leads the entire field with 757 laps led, 188 more than Larson in second place. His contract with JGR expires after 2027, which he says is likely his final season. The team is reportedly already planning for succession, with 18-year-old Brent Cruz viewed as a potential heir to the No. 11. Dale Earnhardt Jr., working as a commentator for Amazon Prime, captured the night as well as anyone. Tonight felt exactly like a Bristol night race I would go to in the 80s. Chaos and uncertainty throughout and a thriller of a finish. You can't ask for more. That simply was a classic. The Firekeepers Casino 400 at Michigan International Speedway is next, June 7, 2026, at 3:00 p.m. on Amazon Prime Video, HBO Max, MRN, and SiriusXM NASCAR Radio. Toyota has won the last 2 races at Michigan. Hamlin is the defending winner. Win no. 63, the number that would tie Kyle Busch, is within reach. And if not Michigan, then Pocono on June 14, where Hamlin has won a record 7 times. The championship fight between Reddick and Hamlin is tightening. The all-time wins record chase is heating up, and the ghost of Kyle Busch is riding along for every lap. In 22 seasons, Denny Hamlin has proven he can beat anyone on any given day. The only question left is whether he can finally beat them all when November comes.